Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to direct your attention to what is possibly one of the most astounding displays of a developer's seemingly undying dedication, hard work, and persistence. Of course, we've had our No Man's Skies, we've had our Fallout 76s, though to a much lesser degree, mind you. But this here, of course, represents an amalgamation of love, pure effort, in an attempt to save what was essentially a drowning baby. It's hard to say that. Saving a drowning baby, it's no easy feat, I'll say that much.
But in all seriousness, Cyberpunk's Update 2.0 is something else. Obviously, the amount of time that it took for the game to get into the state that it is now versus it at launch, it's, unacceptable. The game should have launched this way. I think anyone would agree with that easily. That being said, it's hard to deny what we do have here. I mean, this update, incredible. I cannot think of another game that has, aside from No Man's Sky, that has been able to
rise from the proverbial ashes
and become reborn anew. And in this sense, Cyberpunk Update 2.0 does it in a huge way. Cyberpunk's subsequent expansion pack, Phantom Liberty, helps with that, but Update 2.0 really lays down the groundwork for what is essentially now a more than fixed, it still has its bugs and glitches, but it's a much better game than what it was at launch, let alone what it was in the patch before this. Is the game perfect? Absolutely not. I still have my fair share of Cyberpunk 2077 flavored bugs and glitches every now and again. But in any case, I just want to talk about Update 2.0 and what it brings to the table. You know what? I have a whole list here. Let me just read through this. The new NCPD system, revamped skill trees, a reworked cyberware system, a reworked UI, improved AI, a reworked loot system, vehicular combat, new dynamic side content, an entirely new district in Dogtown, a whole new story to dive into, new gigs, and other subtle changes throughout Night City. This is what Update 2.0 and Phantom Liberty bring to the table, and it prompts me to ask the question, CDPR, what the fuck? What did you do with Cyberpunk? Where's that game? Where did it go? Where the fuck did it go? What is this? What is this shit? What is this good shit? Update 2.0. Let's talk about the new builds that you can make and the new skill trees that are introduced here. I'm not gonna go through all the new builds. I'm just gonna talk about the build that I fucking used in Cyberpunk 2077. First of all, the gameplay loop feels so much better in Cyberpunk 2077. There's no denying that. It feels like a much different game, and the combat feels way, way better. Like, me personally, because I'm playing through the game, and I'm still playing through the game as a bladed cyber psycho, although I do have an extra save that I'm building to be a net runner. But essentially my main save that I stream, by the way, watch my streams, my main save, I play as a bladed cyber psycho. And the one skill, one perk that allows me to play as a quote-unquote cyber psycho is the titular edge runner perk. And obviously, after watching the Edge Runners anime, yeah, dude, I'm gonna fucking get that perk. Like, first thing I get, first chance I get. I am getting the Edge Runner perk so as to live my edge... that sounds weird. So as to live my edge running fantasies in its full glory, Shout out Edge Runners. Saying it that many times just completely breaks the definition of what an Edge Runner is. Just sounds weird to me now, but in any case, still. I want to be an edge runner. I'm an edge runner. I'm a bladed cyber psycho. Together with my fully maxed out blades skill tree, as well as, the blade skill tree, there's another skill tree right next to the blade skill tree that allows me to just dash around, and mobility is so much better now in Cyberpunk, if you choose to go down that route anyway. Mobility is so much faster, you have so much more control over where you're dashing towards, and where you want to dash to, who you want to dash to, if you want to kill someone as soon as you can, and stuff like that. Together with the blade skill tree, the edge runner perk, which that whole skill tree I've also maxed out, together with the movement skill tree, and my tier 5 plus mantis blades, which get bloody after a flurry of finishers, rampant killing sprees that I go on. Yeah, I think Cyber Psycho is the right word to use for it. And the coolest part about the Edge Runner perk is that the Edge Runner perk allows you to go over your cyberware capacity for a certain number of points, and for every point that you're over cyberware capacity, you get an increased % chance to enter a state of fury. And within this state of fury, you do way more damage, number 1. Number 2, your screen turns yellow. Number 3, you hear a cacophony of laughter coming from all sides of your headphones or speakers, whatever the fuck you use. If you want to be a cyber psycho, the Edge Runner perk is essential, and I love it. The amount of damage that I do, hearing the laughter, seeing the screen turn yellow, and just like shit going crazy, it's so fun, and it's so satisfying. Me, myself, I might be turning into a psychopath myself, just to see when I use my Mantis Blades and I just stab the fuck out of people, and I go in and I'm like, ching, 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 ching. I like stab people. I do finishers. I cut their heads off. I stab them like 7 times, and then I stab them in the head as the finishing stab. My hands turn bloody after a rampant killing spree and stuff like that. It's so satisfying to get all of this feedback coming in to you as the player. You get all of this feedback, this visual, this auditory feedback, and of course, the controller as well, just to have the controls feel so much more responsive. Yeah, Update 2.0 is fucking amazing. This is way better than what I could have ever hoped for from Update 2.0. This Update 2.0, in terms of combat, has exceeded my expectations. Like, expectations were down here. This is what's like Update 2.0 brought to the table. I was so surprised. Of course, there are many other builds to play through. I believe one of the CDPR devs called it one of their favorite builds is becoming a warlock with netrunner or whatever the fuck it's called. And together with the Relic skill tree, that's another thing that I haven't dived into yet. But together with the Relic skill tree, you can use your monowire, which is a weapon in the game. You can use your monowire to upload quick hacks to enemies, which is sick. And with my bladed cyber psycho that I've been running, with the Relic skill tree, I unlocked a skill that allows me to essentially just leap to whoever the fuck I want to kill and just kill them straight off, like behead them or like dismember them in some sort of bloody fashion. I love it, dude. Am I turning into a psychopath? Perhaps. In which case, don't come near me. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about the reworked cyberware system, which has really, honestly, I like it. I like the reworked cyberware system. I used to be able to just go to a Ripper Dock and buy and equip whatever piece of cyberware I'd want without any sort of repercussions. CDPR has introduced this variable of a cyberware capacity system. You have an allotment of points in terms of cyberware capacity, can only equip so much cyberware until you reach that cyberware capacity limit. There are ways to circumvent or I guess progress this cyberware capacity system, which are through perks. I like the cyberware capacity system because it forces the player to become more cognizant or like more aware of the shit that they're putting into their player's body. And again, it's all in line with what you want to make as a character. It's all in line with your role-playing goals. If you want to play as a netrunner, then make sure you have a cyber deck at the top of your priority list and see what you can slot in around that. If you want to maybe have ricochet damage as a priority, put that at the top of your priority list. Use the ballistic coprocessor, and see what you can slot in around that. I sound like a fucking nerd, but I love this shit. This is like some of the best. I love this video game. It's good. Okay? I don't think it's a perfect system. The one part where it starts to fall apart is kind of later in the game when your character reaches the max level, because then the cyberware capacity system doesn't really matter, because you can bypass any repercussions you might have with the cyberware capacity system with different cyberware or perks, at which point the cyberware capacity system doesn't really become all that noticeable or relevant later in the game. It's really only during the beginning of the game where you need to focus in on your role-playing goals with the cyberware capacity system in mind. But yeah, like I still like it. I still think it's a good system to have. Another thing that they added into Update 2.0 is, of course, the new NCPD system. This has been a long-standing issue with the community, and that is the NCPD system, or basically the lack thereof, before patch 2.0. The NCPD system was essentially this like David Blaine act of police drones and police officers who, as soon as you did something that was considered against the law, i.e. killing civilians, not that I need to tell you that, but just as an example, when you do something against the law, they'll just appear. Like the police drones and the police officers, they'll appear out of thin air, like David Blaine was on your screen. And he was like, hey, yeah, check this out, bang, poof, and boom, you get your police officers, you get your drones, and then they're chasing after you, but all you need to do is just beeline down some sort of straight path in Night City, and bang, they disappear. They're gone. They're gone as soon as they arrived. Like, it was a weird thing. But now, they've changed the NCPD system up in a way that I wasn't really expecting, and I'm really happy about it. NCPD officers patrol Night City. Like, mind-blowing. I know, it's not. But, like the patrolling officers around Night City, whether it's in a car or maybe they're just strolling around, like walking around Night City, it might sound like a small thing, but it's a huge deal in the sense that, like, it makes sense. Whereas the drones and the officers before, they just appear out of nowhere. That doesn't really make much sense. Like, okay, I do something against the law. They put out an APB for me, and okay, oh, makes sense. I saw this officer down the road a while ago. Now he's chasing after me. I get it. I understand. I love it. I love the new NCPD system. It makes escaping the law so much more fun. Not that I've actually played around with the system too much, but every time that I did get in trouble for accidentally killing a civilian because they were in my way, which, by the way, not my fault, dude. Get out of the fucking way, you know what I'm saying? I killed a civilian, and they put out an APB for me. It made escaping the law more fun and more engaging, because that means, oh, I can't just beeline down a straight road. I gotta turn. Turning may not be the most, like, engaging of things, but in Night City, where there's a shit ton of roads and a ton of police officers now around you, it can be more engaging now, because there's so much more shit around you. That's the new NCPD system. It's great. I haven't played around too much with it. I still have yet to attack or be attacked by Max Tack, but I should do that, considering that I do want to live my edge-running fantasies to a T. The other thing I want to talk about, which kind of ties into the new NCPD system, is vehicular combat. I personally don't care too much about vehicular combat, but again, I think it adds to the whole experience of role-playing in Night City. You can pull out your weapon, you can live your drive-by fantasies to a T, if you want to do that anyway, and you can, go on shooting sprees from the comfort of your driver's seat. You don't have to get out, you can stay in your car, or maybe your handgun is not enough for you. Well, I have news for you, good sir. You can buy vehicles that are weaponized with missiles and turrets. Get your weaponized vehicle today. They offer quite a bit in the way of vehicular combat, and it's great. And I guess tying into the idea of the new NCPD system and vehicular combat and gang members shooting at each other and shit, it's improved AI. AI is definitely improved. There is no doubt in my mind that it is. The most noticeable area in which AI is improved is driving. Drivers, NPC drivers, they do a much better job of dodging oncoming traffic or incoming traffic. If a collision is inevitable or it's like coming, then they dodge. Or sometimes they don't, but that's also just the nature of Night City. If they don't dodge, honestly, that's more immersive. Just like seeing crashes in Night City happen, like that's so immersive, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this would totally happen in Night City. Combat AI is also improved upon. I say it's improved upon. I know it's different. I know combat AI feels different, but I don't know if it's objectively better. But that's like the extent of my experience with combat AI, is that I just know it feels different. I just don't know if it's objectively better. Or worse for that matter. But that's the AI side of things. I also want to talk about the improved loot system. This one is a bit of a bigger one for me as well, because a loot system before patch 2.0 felt kind of meaningless, almost not completely irrelevant, but it just felt meaningless in the sense that, like, you picked up whatever you saw on the ground. To be fair, that's the nature of loot. You just pick up whatever the fuck you see on the ground, whether or not it's good or bad. But I just didn't care about the loot. And so when Update 2.0 dropped, the loot is a bit different. First of all, the loot is attached to your level. I think it was like this also before patch 2.0, but it feels more noticeable now. When you just begin Cyberpunk, the amount of white and green items that you get in the game, it's like through the roof. You only get white and or green items, but as you level up, you start getting more blue items, you start getting more purple items, and as you reach closer to that max level, you start getting purple and orange items that are tier 5 and tier 5 plus. It's more noticeable now than it was in previous patches, and I really do like that, because it gives more incentive to level up, right? I mean, not that there wasn't enough incentive previously to level up, the skill trees were enough to do that, But now you have this like awesome feedback loop of like, okay, I level up. Not only do I get awesome skill trees now to play around with as I level up, but I also understand that I get more loot as I level up. And so increased incentive is always a good thing because it just makes me more engaged in the game, and it wants me to, I want to play more at that point. So there is that. Another thing about the loot system is that I care about what I pick up now. Like, I'm cognizant, at the very least, I'm cognizant of the type of loot that I'm picking up, whether or not it's white, green, blue, purple, or orange, or whatever, yellow. I'm more cognizant because I need crafting components in order to upgrade stuff. If I want to upgrade my cyberware, I need specific crafting components in order to upgrade them to where I want them to be in terms of their tier levels. So when I do that, I feel good. Because I'm like, I'm picking up loot, not for the sake of picking it up, but I'm picking it up for the sake of wanting to level something up. Whether it's a cyberware item or maybe it's a gun that I want to level up. Again, more incentive to do shit in the game. And that's just great, right? To incentivizing different aspects of the game to just take advantage of each of the systems is always a good thing, I feel like. It keeps the player engaged. Lord knows that I'm engaged in the game. You know what I mean? Holy shit. There are so many other subtle changes throughout Night City as well. I know I've watched Digital Foundry's video, but they've also, the artists have gone in to touch up different parts of Night City, whether it's by upping the amount of volumetric fog that's out there or maybe placing different lights around here and there. They've gone in and touched up different stuff. The devs have also added in different side quests and side jobs that you can do in Night City. I haven't gone in and checked out every single one of them, obviously. But that being said, there's a lot to discover in Night City in terms of subtle changes, and if there is something that I have not covered in this video, please let me know down in the comments below so I can get my hands on that sweet Cyberpunk content, when I'm playing the game, on stream or off stream, which, again, by the way, watch my fucking streams. But to conclude, I've just been obviously gushing about Update 2.0 in this video. I want to, again, reiterate that it's not a perfect update, but even with the glitches and bugs, everything that Update 2.0 and Phantom Liberty, for that matter, everything that they bring to the table, it's all transformative, and it just almost eclipses all the bad things about Cyberpunk. Again, I am not asking you to forget or overlook the bad things that Cyberpunk has brought. I am simply saying that Cyberpunk has a lot of good shit. I have had an absolute blast with Update 2.0 alone. That's not including Phantom Liberty. I'll get into Phantom Liberty in another video, but for this video I just want to talk about Update 2.0 as it is, because Phantom Liberty is a whole nother thing entirely. But Update 2.0 represents the undying dedication of CDPR when it comes to making a good game, and it's fantastic. I love it. That's going to be that for this video. Thank you guys for watching. There's so much content out there on YouTube in general, let alone Cyberpunk content. There's a shit ton of Cyberpunk content, so I appreciate you guys watching this video up until the very end. Again, if there's anything I might have missed, please let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, feel free to like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also watch my streams, please. They're fun. They're chill, relatively. Sometimes I rage, but, that's just the nature of gaming. In any case, that's going to be that. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one. See ya.